Hello, my name is Stephanie Shan.
And I'm Maribone West. We're the Technology Student Association.
Today we'll be interviewing Miss Shalina Hetrick from Oak Ridge National Laboratory.
She's the Operation Manager of
the Hydroelectric Portfolio Program.
About myself, I have a background in computer science and statistics. And that computer science and statistics was also paired with a second major in biology in college. And combining those two things together allowed me to work on climate change models that were looking at how climate change could possibly impact groundwater in front of a thermal forest in West Virginia. And that experience exposed me to quite a few different scientists, and I ended up working at NASA at Goddard Space Flight Center in the Earth and Sciences Division, and did international work related to carbon sequestration, data management, and from that space, eventually I ended up working with informatics and focused on bioinformatics. I worked with multiple agencies, the USGS and the Smithsonian, and eventually ended up at Oak Ridge National Laboratory working with the Energy Water Resource Systems Group. And I'm actually the operations manager for that group. So,
okay.
More details?
No, that's good. What type of renewable energy field are you in, and can you tell us more about it?
So the renewable energy field that I'm in is working with hydropower. And hydropower is considered a renewable energy because it's a continual source. It is based on river flow or it's based on pump storage. It is the only energy that's out there that can start from a black start at the moment, meaning if there's a blackout, you can just open the gates to start the energy flowing. You don't have to have electricity to get it started. But it is considered one of the renewable energy resources within the United States because we have so much water depending on which part of the United States you're in. Approximately 12% of our renewable energy power comes from hydropower at the moment.
What type of education is necessary for your job?
My particular job, I have a project management certification from PMI, which is Project Management Institute. But the majority of the people that I work with in the hydropower field are engineers and aquatic biologists. We have two main sets of groups of people that we work with, including civil engineers, electrical and mechanical engineers, that look at different aspects of hydropower specifically. And we also have part of our staff that work on the environmental aspects and the environmental impacts associated with hydropower. But most everyone that I work with has a PhD and specializes in whatever aspect is being reviewed and worked on and researched at the time.
What is a typical day at work like?
A typical day at work with me is working with the different scientists to make sure that they have the resources that they need to get their job done and their research done. Mainly making sure they have enough funding in place so that they can do their work, that they have the equipment that they need. I spend time meeting with people to make sure that we're meeting our deliverables to our sponsors, that we are putting together information that's scientifically credible, and that we're meeting the needs of both ORNL and our sponsors.
What is the most used technology for your job?
The most used technology, I would say computer program, and it depends on which aspects. For me, it has to do with basic communication aspects associated with the technology, dealing with scientific spreadsheets, dealing with spreadsheets and dealing with modeling aspects of hydropower is what a great deal of our team uses. Our team that uses project and other scientific tools that are mainly computer-based.
Why did you choose to be in the renewable energy field?
Because I'm interested in having a job that is contributing to the well-being of the world.
If someone wants to do a job like yours, what advice would you give them?
I would tell them to study the things that they enjoy, but to develop skill sets, because you don't ever know what job is going to come open in the future, but to develop the skill sets and the knowledge base that you need associated with areas that you're interested in. For me, I don't know that at your age I would have said this is where I would have ended up, but definitely almost all of my work and all of my education was related to water and water resources. And how water is engaged within the environment. And all of that information and background really put me in a position so that when this opportunity came up, I was able to step into the job.
How do you use STEM in your job? STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, and math.
Question?
How do you use STEM in your job? STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, and math.
Every aspect of my job has some amount of STEM related to it. As I work with scientists all the time, technology all the time. I'm not an engineer, but I work with engineers all the time, and we use math every single day with every aspect of work that we do.
What renewable energy source, in your opinion, is most promising for the future?
Of course, hydropower. I think that it's a very promising resource for the future. And I think hydropower has the potential to be a sustainable, renewable energy source for the United States and for the world if it's implemented properly.
What other jobs or careers are in the renewable energy field?
I think the renewable energy field is expanding so much that there's almost endless opportunities associated with what you can do in that field with any skill set that you have. There's really not any job that I can't think of that isn't opening up in the renewable energy field, because you're dealing with policy, you're dealing with different governments, you're dealing with a resource that's important to everyone, you're dealing with a growing population. But the ability to be able to communicate well, written and spoken, and the ability to understand basic science, technology, energy, engineering, and math is really important to be able to move forward in almost any field.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, and I appreciate you guys taking the time to meet up at a time that I could actually take the call.
Oh no, thank you so much for doing this for us.